Last July, 10 months ago, 6-year-old Don Haynes kissed his father and mother goodbye and climbed into a car with 4 other youngsters. A neighbor was going to drive the children to a movie. They were all excited because they were going to see a Walt Disney picture. They never got there. As the eager faces drove down the street, a truck hit the car head-on. There was a splintering crash. All the victims were taken to the hospital for treatment. 10 months later, little Don is still here. He's a year older now. He's 7. Don's parents, Mr. and Mrs. Albert Haynes, come to the hospital every day for hours at a time to see their boy, help take care of him. They hope he'll recover, but his chances are slim, all because of one moment of carelessness on the part of a driver. Mr. Haynes, what chance for recovery as far as you know?
We don't anticipate too much recovery. We're hopeful, but that's all.
If little Don does recover, we hope he does, what chance does he have for a normal life?
According to the doctors on the case at the present time, he has very little chance of any use of his brain or his physical abilities.
Mrs. Haynes, we may talk to you for a moment. Do you have any other children?
Yes, we have another boy, 4 years old.
And someone else takes care of him while you come to the hospital?
Yes, I have a friend that takes care of him most of the time.
Do you think he understands what's happening to his older brother?
Well, he knows where he is, but I don't know if he understands or not. He knows he's in the hospital.
If you had one thing to say to a driver, one careless driver, at any time, but particularly the Memorial Day holiday, when many drivers are on the road, what would you say?
Don't drink and drive.
Do you have any comment for those driving?
Well, I'd certainly warn them to be careful because there's things a good deal worse than death itself.
Personally, I wouldn't trade places with anyone. I feel that I'm very lucky and to have been assisted by a lot of wonderful people and got along as good as I have. I don't think it's all me. I don't think any person can do all of it by himself. I think he has to have a lot of help from a lot of sources, and I've been very lucky in that part of it.
I gather from what I've heard you say that a handicap is more mental than physical. Would you agree with that?
If you let it, it definitely will be. And it's the mental part of it is a lot more dangerous than the physical end of it ever would be. If you let it get you down up above your ears, well, you're in bad shape.
If you have a philosophy of life, and most of us do, could you sum that up for me in just a few words? What is your philosophy of life?
That is a hard question to answer. I would say that to pick out the things that you want to do and do them, and if you have a handicap, well, try to make that handicap fit into your life instead of your life fitting into the handicap.
A lot of people probably never think about this, but actually you probably have a whole lot of real nice people down here, right?
I've got wonderful people down here. They're some of the very best.
What about drunks? We hear a lot about drunks on Reno.
Well, there's drunks up on Main, other streets too. I may have a little more down here, but the reason of that is that these people like to associate with each other. And they just kind of gang up here on the street.
Do they usually do pretty well what you tell them?
Exactly. They get one chance. Everybody down here, in fact, anybody can tell you that everybody gets a chance to go home. If they get too drunk, I give them a chance to go home. If they don't go right then, or if I see them a second time, they go to jail. So that way I have perfect control. They'll go right on home when I tell them to.
Chick, do you consider drunks your number one problem down here, or do you have other major problems?
Drunks and man and wife, domestic quarrels. I have lots of those. It's between the two of them, be about 50-50.
Do you usually try to settle these domestic arguments without having to take them in?
Yes, definitely so. Now then, I'd have to arrest 20, 25 people extra every night.
Getting back to the drunks, can you recall any one particular instance of the man you thought was probably the most drunk you've ever run across?
Yes, I had one man admit that he was drunk. I think he's about the only man that I ever admitted that he was drunk. Found him sleeping one winter night in the alley. Went over and woke him up, asked him if he was drunk. He got up and shook his clothes off. Says, no, he wasn't drunk. And I asked him why he was using that old dead cat for a pillow, which an old dead cat was laying there, a white one. He had nestled down in it. And he looked down at the cat and said, yes, I'm drunk, put me in jail.